everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you how to create beautiful high-end looking decor with just a few simple DIY tricks. I have ideas to share with you today made mostly from supplies you can find at the Dollar Tree, so it's all very affordable. Let's get started. For this first DIY, we're going to create some stunning vintage style art that looks like it was straight out of an antique shop. Start by finding some royalty-free vintage artwork online. There are a ton of websites where you can download high-quality public domain prints. I'll link the one I use down below. Just make sure you choose something that fits your aesthetic, floral, abstract, landscape, anything you love. Next, I decided to laminate my art print. Since I was using an inkjet printer, I wanted to make sure the ink wouldn't bleed in the next steps. It also gave it a nice sturdy finish. You could also use a self-adhesive laminating pouch if you don't have a laminator, or just print onto cardstock with a laser printer to skip this step completely. Once your print is laminated, trim it down to fit the frame. I'm using this gold frame I picked up from Dollar Tree. Next, take some Mod Podge and brush it all over the art print. You want to make sure the print is completely covered in the Mod Podge, and then go back and add brush strokes trying to mimic the brush strokes that the original artist had created. This step adds that painted on effect that makes it look like a fine art piece rather than a simple print. Once the Mod Podge has dried, place your artwork in the frame, and there you go, you have a beautiful piece of art to display on your wall or your shelves. Now let's make a beautiful faux stone accent bowl that'll look like something straight out of Pottery barn for a fraction of the price. Here's how you can create your own elevated rustic pedestal bowl. First, grab two bowls, one larger and one smaller. The smaller bowl will act as the pedestal for the larger one, so make sure the sizes are balanced. The goal is to make it look like the larger bowl is standing on a decorative base. Now take some strong glue or hot glue, I used E6000 glue, and carefully attach the smaller bowl to the bottom of the larger one with the ends facing together. After that dries, we're going to create a stone-like texture. Take some light brown acrylic paint and mix it with a little bit of baking soda. The baking soda will give it that rough textured feel that mimics real stone. You can adjust the amount of baking soda depending on how chunky you want your texture to be. Using a brush, start painting the entire bowl with your stone mixture. Be sure to get it into all the crevices and around the edges for a really authentic look. Let this coat dry completely before applying a second one. I wasn't quite happy with the color of my first coat, so I did adjust the color a bit in my second coat. Now comes the fun part. To give this piece a more vintage aged feel, use a bit of dark brown and white paint and dab it on with a wet paper towel. I use the dark brown paint on the edges of the bowls to give it that aged look, and then the white paint I used to add highlights to the body of the bowl. I used my beige base paint to blend it all together. This will make it look like it's been weathered and worn over time. Once the paint is dry, your faux stone bowl is ready to display. It has that high-end, earthy vibe and can be used as a stylish catch-all on your entryway table or as a beautiful centerpiece. For our third DIY, we're going to make some beautiful faux pears. For this DIY, I'm using an old Christmas ornament to make the base of our pear. Next, I took some craft paper, the brown texture paper you see in packaging, crumpled and rolled it up and added it to the top of my ornament to mimic the look of the top of a pear. I used a hot glue gun to attach this and then added a few more pieces to give it the right amount of body. Once you're happy with the general shape, you can gently mold the pear with your hands to smooth it out or make it more pointed at the top where the pear stem would be. Now we're going to add the final layers. Rip up some strips of craft paper and dip them into Mod Podge, and then start wrapping the strips around your pear. You'll want to cover it completely, making sure to smooth out any wrinkles or bubbles as you go. The Mod Podge will dry clear, so it's going to look like a smooth finish once it's done. Once you've covered your pear completely, set it aside to dry. I let mine dry overnight, and once it was finished, I had a beautiful textured rustic faux pear. This makes a great bowl filler in my decorative pieces. For this last DIY, we're going to create a stunning birch bark inspired candle holder that will add a natural, rustic touch to any room. We're using a simple, unfinished ceramic cylinder from Dollar Tree. If you can't find this exact ceramic piece from Dollar Tree, any cylinder will do. Just make sure to stick to fake candles if you're using a cardboard cylinder. Using my black and brown paint, I started painting horizontal strips all over the cylinder. Think of how birch bark has those natural lines and markings. Try to make the lines a little rough and not perfectly even to give it a more authentic, natural look. Don't worry about being too neat because birch bark isn't naturally perfectly uniform. Next, I took my cream paint and started blending in the black and brown strips so they weren't so harsh. I just kept working in layers until I was happy with the way it looked. To finish this off, I added a few touches of white paint to create highlights and give the piece more dimension, all the way up to the top. Now that your birch-inspired candle holder is all set, place a tea light inside or even a small pillar candle if you prefer. It adds such a cozy, warm glow and it'll look stunning on any table or shelf. forget to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more affordable DIY home decor ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with even more fun projects to try. Bye!